Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa liit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisipin, sa nagatang tutok sa simulan. Ikaw bangaw, ay ginatang tula, kawin sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isa kang matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin. Ang itubig na karoon niya, kailan ang may matitingin. Lumalang araw ng warhagin pansin ka, huwag nangin sa piling mo. Ang higaya na kantay magami, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord, as we all say, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Father, we thank you for everyone gathered here now. We thank you that you know each one of us by name. We are dependent on you, and our trust is in you completely. As we surrender ourselves with adoration, we welcome you amongst us today and celebrate the gift of life that you lavish upon each one of us. We ask that you would open our ears so that we may hear your voice. Open our minds so that we may receive your eternal wisdom. Open our spirits so that we may know your leading and guidance. And open our hearts so that we may receive your wonderful love. Lord, we thank you for everyone who are present today. We pray that you would give us great inspiration as we share what you have placed in our hearts. We pray that you would fill us with courage and give us your peace. We pray that you will keep us safe and spare us from the threat of the virus. We ask all this in the glorious name of Jesus. Amen.
Once again, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. To officially give us the participants of this orientation, let us have EPS Jesselyn B. de la Cuesta. Ma'am Jess.
Good morning to everyone, to our regional director, Director Alan G. Farnaso, Director 4, our assistant regional director, we have Ma'am Ines Asuncion, Sector 4, my beautiful EPS, Chief, Dr. Maria Jean B. Aldiger, to all maayong buntag sa tanan. Sir RD, I would like to present to you the attendees of the 11th division offices. We have the CID chief, the learning resource managers, the ADM division focal person, the Fs in different areas, and other PAPs, and of course, the CLMD education program supervisors. If I will call your division, i-abri tanan ang mga camera sa taga-division para makita ang atong mga kagwapa. Okay? So we have here the division of Davao City. Open your cam.
Lalaki na mga leader. Ayan, ang
Okay.
leader na
Saan ang taga Davao City? Good morning. Digo City,
Hello,
please
morning.
open your cam. Hi. Digo City. Igakos. I cannot see your faces in the video. Mati City. Isa lang gud ako nakita no, taga Davao ra gyud Panabo City. Please open your camera. Ayun, si Chief Januario andyan. Wow, murantag mo kantaan nino. Panabo City. Thank you. We have Davao Occidental. Open your cam.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Wow, nakita na ko si Kuan, si Mrs. Malorida. Isa na kaya yung iba. Okay, we have also from Davao de Oro.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ma'am Arlene.
Good morning.
Wow,
Good morning.
Morning, Ma'am Davao de Oro. Good morning. Andyan sila lahat, Of course, we have here Davao del Sur. Thank you, Davao de Oro. Davao
Good morning,
del
Ma'am
Sur.
Jesseline.
Wow, what a nice voice.
Good morning.
Wow, Aldos is there. Grace.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Agarbuhog, Davao del Sur.
morning.
Welcome,
Okay, Davao
astronaut
del
play.
Wow, murag astronaut si Aldos. We have also from Davao del Norte.
Good morning.
Good morning. Wow, andyan si Ma'am Marlene. Sino pa nandyan? Ayan, si Chief. Hi, Chief Edward. Of course, taga Del Norte yan,
Good morning.
Okay. Thank you very much, Davao del Norte Division. We have Tagum City. Tagum City. Andyan si Renato Pakpakin. I miss you.
Good morning.
Tagum City, I cannot see you.
Good morning, Ma'am Jess.
Good morning,
Hi, good
ma'am.
morning. Tagumpay.
Good morning, Ma'am Jess.
Yes, good morning. Maayong buntag. Salamat, Tagum City. And of course, Davao Oriental.
Good morning, Jess.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Tim.
Good morning, everyone.
Lay. Good morning. Hi. Hi, Susan. Okay, so yan po ang mga nakita ko sa video, sa wall. So, welcome to our, anong title nito? Our Watch. Okay? So, maayong buntag sa tanan. Sana lahat tayo maging safe ha kay nagkumbaya transmission karong mga panahon na. Okay, so maayong buntag and God bless.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Jess. Thank you po. Happy to see the faces of our education program supervisors together with their CID chiefs in the different schools division offices. So all accounted po ang 11 SDOs. Tama ba ako, Ma'am Jess?
Yes. Oo. Hindi ko man makita yung kanilang ibang face, pero andyan sila lahat.
Ma'am Jess, how about the regional office po?
Yeah, I forgot. My God. I would like to present to you the Education Program Supervisor of Region 11, Pasok Luningning. I forgot my silingan. My God. Andyan si Ma'am Shelo, si Ma'am Annalisa, si Ma'am Lisa,
Good morning, Beth.
si Ma'am Inday. Andyan si Ma'am Mary Jane,
Ako,
si Sir Danny. Sino pa nandyan?
Si Doc Ren.
Si Ma'am Manuel, of course. Ma'am Revos is here. Ay, sorry sa mga silingan. Again, maayong buntag sa tanan.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Jess. So, all accounted na din po ang regional office or CLMD-EPS. Okay, so once again, maayong buntag sa tanan and daghang salamat, Ma'am Jess, because we already know who are our attendees and we're very glad that we reached 86 po in attendance right now. To give us the rationale and the meaning, the reason why we are having this orientation, let us all welcome the Chief in the Curriculum and Learning Management Division, no other than Dr. Mary Jean Aldiger. Chief? Hi, Chief. Chief Jean.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Hello, good morning, everyone. My courtesy to our Regional Director, Dr. Alan G. Farnaza, and our Assistant Regional Director, Dr. Maria Ines Asuncion, and all the education program supervisors. So with my co-chiefs here, the curriculum instruction division chiefs, my pleasant and my courtesy to you for the good day that we have. This is already the appointed time wherein we will gather together for one common purpose, which is to address the fearful might happen to our activity or to the learning resource materials that the regional office might be producing or the division or the schools might be producing. So this is an activity that I know that each of the division offices here, you already have your mechanism on how to address the errors of our released learning resource materials. But then we need to establish really a mechanism wherein each one will have its awareness of our responsibility of the materials that we will be giving both to our teachers and to our learners. So with our activity today, or with our purpose of as much as possible eradicating issues in the future that will involve all the materials that we produce, if possible early on, we need to address it from the school level to the district level to the regional level before it will reach to the national. Worse, that it would reach to the community whose responsibility today is just to look into the fault or the flaws of the Department of Education. So we need to help one another for us really to produce a material that is already anchored to the quality materials that we aim to have or we aim to produce. With that, with your commitment to the Department of Education, I hope that each one of us here will help reaching, targeting, or even attaining our objective, that the materials that we are going to give to our teachers and to our learners as much as possible should be free from errors. So if it would be free from errors, we need to be particular, or we need to have a keen eyes of looking into those materials. So with that, I am very sure, I am very positive that you are also into it. So God bless everyone. I am looking forward that the implementation of this project eWatch would be that purposeful, would be that functional, and would be that valued to our teachers in the level ground. So our understanding would be no materials will go to the end of our learners if it's not really scrutinized by the meticulous eyes of our quality assurance. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chief. Thank you for setting us the goal of this orientation. Maraming talagang salamat, Dr. Chief. Okay, to give us the activity matrix to inform us of what would be the proceedings of this orientation, let us have the ADM focal person, Dr. Maria Shelo Estrada. Ma'am She.
Wait for it. Good morning. By courtesy to our Regional Director, Dr. Alan G. Fernando, our Assistant Regional Director, Dr. Maria Ines Asuncion, our very supportive CLMD Chief, Dr. Mary Jean Aldiger, my fellow supervisors in the CLMD, the chiefs of the CID, the other supervisors in the SDOs. Good morning, everyone. So my task for today, or for this particular moment, to present to you the activity matrix for this 3R activity, which is allotted for or scheduled for from 9 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock. So there will just be a 3R period that we are going to establish this task force error watch. So let me now present to you that activity matrix. So we already have done the prefatories. Participants were already presented. This time, I am presenting to you the activity matrix. So Dr. Aldiger will be providing you, or had provided you with the rationale already. So the main activities within this 3R period is to be given by Dr. Annalisa C. Almazan. She will be discussing or providing us with a brief revisit to the LR standards and the status of released regional office and central offices self-learning modules. Yours truly will also be providing you with the background and terms of references of this particular task force error watch. Then we will be having our short workshop. It is not really a workshop na medyo madugo. You are just going to provide us with the designated task force error watch coordinators in your respective SDOs, so that we will be able to understand here in the CLMD as to whom are we going to collect the reports which we are expecting from your SDOs in the future, or in the quarterly reports which are expected from your SDOs starting this second quarter about this enforcement or the implementation of this task force error watch. And then after that, we will be having our official declaration of task force error watch, which will be given to us by our chief of the curriculum and learning management division. And then we will, after that, we will be having our closing prayer. So that will be the activities within this 3R period. And I hope everybody would be experiencing a very meaningful time with us as we are going to guard, as we are propelling to guard the different learning materials that we already had provided to our learners in DepEd Region 11. Thank you very much, and good morning once again.
Thank you so much, Ma'am She. Ayan, so we already oriented or what are our different proceedings for this orientation. So this time, it's our time to revisit the LR standards so that we will be reoriented. Pero this very quick lang and very brief. Okay? So I will show you my screen. So this is all about our standards and our guidelines. So these are already familiar to you, the information. So we will revisit now the guidelines and the standards in developing the learning resources. So as we all know that we all started with the needs assessment, then after which we form our development team, or we call that one as design and development. In the design and development, we organize the development team with the following composition. So we have the writers, the illustrators, the layout artists, in-house content editors, and in-house language editors. And these are all managed by the education program supervisors in the different SDOs in the different learning areas. So yun po ang composition ng ating development teams. So if we're going to think right now, we will be thinking the development of the self-learning modules that we have since 2020, quarter 1 ng 2020. Nung 2019 pa, we started with the grade 3 SLM. So ito po yung composition natin until we expand our composition into the different grade levels na and different learning areas. Okay? So after the design and development, in here the development teams will be writing the modules, develop the different modules, and then submit that one for quality assurance. So as we all know, in the quality assurance, we're looking 3 factors. First, we are checking the content. Then in the content, we have these different domains. We have the intellectual property rights compliance, the learning competencies, the instructional design and organization, instructional quality, assessment, then readability. Then for the language, ito yung second area to be considered. So when we say language, we're looking into the coherence and clarity of thought, grammar and syntax, spelling and punctuation, consistency and style. And for the design and layout, this is the last domain or area. So physical attributes, the design and layout, the typographical organization, and the visuals. Okay, so let's try to look into the structure of our content in the SLMs. So when we say content, we're referring to suitability of the content to the level of our students, diba? Yung kanila para appropriate to their grade level. Then material contributes to the achievement of specific objectives of the subject area and grade level for which is intended. So yun ang intention natin with the content. And of course, provides for the development of higher cognitive skills such as the critical thinking, creativity, learning by doing, inquiry, problem solving, and the 21st century skills. Material is free of ideological, cultural, religious, racial, and gender biases and prejudices. So yun ang, di ba, yung tinitingnan din natin sa material. So later we will talk this one in the social content guidelines. Then material enhances the development of desirable values and traits. Material arouses interest of target reader. Then there is an adequate warning or cautionary notes provided in topics and activities where safety and health are of concern. So presentation is engaging, interesting, and understandable. When we aim that the material is in logical and smooth flow, yung kanyang ideas. Then the vocabulary level is adapted to target reader's experience and understanding. Length of the sentences is suited to the comprehension level of the target reader. Sentences and paragraph structures are varied and interesting to the target reader. So about the error. So sa content, as much as possible, we are going to be watchful sa conceptual errors, factual errors, grammatical errors, computational and absolute information, then other errors such as errors in illustrations, diagrams, pictures, maps, graphs, and tables. So later po, mayroon tayong quick review of the common errors ng ating learning resources. So what to look for? So ito na yung standards natin. So as we are going to examine the material, we are going to look for the compliance with learning competencies and accuracy of content. In our case right now, the self-learning modules are developed based on the most essential learning competencies. Yun talaga yung ano. So dapat yung SLM natin ay compliant to the MELCs. Then freshness of information, format, presentation, and organization. We have the language, social content, and the IPR or the copyright concerns. Ayan. So, tingnan natin ngayon, if we are going to evaluate the material, so these are our guide posts. So, we have integrity and consistency, organization, accuracy and recency, appropriateness, sensitivity, comprehensiveness, balance, readability, and presentation. So let's talk about integrity and consistency. So my questions sa'yo, these are our guide questions so that we can find out that the material is of integrity and consistent siya sa learning competencies. So question natin, does the material reflect the philosophy of the K-12 curriculum and the goals of the subject area in the curriculum? Yan. So is there smooth flow of ideas in the material? Are the topics logically arrayed or organized, simple to complex, concrete to abstract, easy to difficult, known to unknown, chronology, prerequisite learning, whole to part, and part to whole? So does the material contain advanced organizers, summaries, evaluation, and other features that facilitate synthesis of learning? Yeah, do the features of the material show agreement and harmony? So our content, so meaning this is the accuracy now and the recency. So when we say content, we're referring to the text, the illustrations, the exercises in the material accurate. Then be mindful of conceptual errors, factual errors, grammatical errors, typographical errors, conflicting statements, then errors in visuals. Are the examples provided realistic? Are the content up to date? So yung statistics natin should not be more than 5 years old. Yun po. So yun ang, as we are going to examine the material, evaluate the material, tingnan natin kung ano ba, accurate ba siya. So we have to answer these guide questions. Then when we say appropriateness, so ito yung questions natin, is content of the material appropriate to, number 1, local situations, ability of the learners at the particular grade level, are activities and exercises engaging and interesting to the learners? So, yun. Is there variety of activities and exercises to suit the different intelligences and learning styles of learners? Are the objectives attainable? Are the suggested materials easily available? Are suggested strategies practical, challenging, and stimulating? Are the tests properly constructed, useful in evaluating learning outcomes, or congruent with the objectives? So yung sensitivity, are all aspects of the material acceptable to significant groups? So ito na yung social content natin. Acceptable ba siya sa parents, sa teachers, sa students, or other stakeholders? Wala ba tayong dito na discriminate? Ganun. And then, is the material mindful of cultural biases? Does it avoid sexism? So check po for the balanced treatment of the roles, occupations, and contributions of women and men. Then racism or regionalism. Check for balanced treatment of races, indigenous peoples, religions, socioeconomic backgrounds, and among others. Is it mindful of ageism, disability, geography, the rural and urban, the religion? So yun, part yan sa sensitivity. Are controversial issues addressed fairly, objectively, and within the level of the learners? When we say comprehensiveness, what what we're going to ask. So are relevant learning competencies adequately covered? Are concepts adequately explained to avoid misconceptions? Is content sufficient to attain the objectives of instruction and the articulated learning competencies? Is there balance and fair treatment of other aspects such as gender, male and female? So, importante din ito po. So, later, mas natin yan sa social content. Then, the domains of learning, cognitive, affective, psychomotor, the local, the rural, urban, upland, and lowland. So, evident ba ito sa, na-treat ba ito sa SLM natin properly? So, readability and presentation, are concepts presented in a clear and concise manner? Are the procedural texts easy to follow? Is the language appropriate for the grade level? Is the format of the material helpful in understanding the content? Then, is the design attractive? Is the print size and font type used appropriate and legible? Then, is the material handy for daily use? So, those are our guideposts. So, itong last na guidepost natin ay medyo dito yan siya sa LR technical specifications. So, when we say technical specifications, our SLMs should adhere to the general elements of text-based LRs. The paper size, the margins, the page numbers, font style and size, the art-to-text ratio, the book elements, the book cover elements. So, dapat compliant din ang SLM natin with this standard. So, generally, this is the typography of the K-12 LRs. Kasi sa K2 grade 1, may may identified font size, font style tayo. We're recommending to use the alphabeto. Hindi tayo, itong Century Gothic, pero pwede siya for K2 grade 3, but our recommended to be used is the alphabeto. So ito po. Then mag-vary talaga siya sa kanyang font size. When we say kindergarten to grade 1, so that's 16. Then grade 2, that's 16 also. Then grade 3, 14 ang kanyang font size. So hindi po pwede na liitan natin kasi nag-economize tayo sa paper. So kasi hindi na natin na-follow yung specification. But as to art-to-text ratio, ito dapat yung SLM natin. Kapag K2 grade 1, dapat 65% yung art, yung text niya 35%. Yung sa grade 2, 60% yung art, 40% yung text niya. Grade 3, 50-50 na ang text at saka yung art. Okay? For grade 4, grade 5 to grade 12, and even teacher's guides, ang gamitin natin na fonts sa font style kay Bookman old style ang recommended by the RO. Ito po. But of course we can use Arial and Times New Roman, but to have uniformity, we are going to follow the Bookman old style. Other font style na kay hindi na nag-follow sa technical specs natin. Okay? As to font size, for grade 4, 14 ang kanyang size. Then 40 to 60 ang kanyang 40 to 60 ang kanyang ratio ng art to text. Then for grade 5 to 12, pwede na gagamit ng font size na 12 or 11. Then ang ratio na ng art to text, that's 30 to 70. For teacher's guides, none na tayo dyan sa art to text. Pwede may art, pwede wala. Then, ang kanyang teacher's guide, font size niya, 11 to 12. So, necessary din na ma-follow natin yung LR technical specs when it comes to font sizes, font style. Kasi yun din ang readability ng material. So, this is our social content guidelines. Just a quick review for this. Why we have this one, with these 9 themes, na dapat nating parang i-consider when we are crafting any learning resource. So, this is to veer away from social stereotypes and to help our learners develop the values on nationalism, justice, moral uprightness, inclusivity, understanding, and compassion. This is because we want to develop the core values of DepEd, na maka-Diyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa. So, this is number one, when we are talking about individuals and social identities, so we want that the material, kapag ito yung maging content ng material, so we want that the material will depict the ethnic, the physical, mental, religious, cultural, and socio-economic diversity of individuals. And of course, the circumstances in society, and promote sensitivity and respect for the dignity and equal treatment for all, or equal treatment of all. So, yun nang isipin natin na dapat equal yung treatment natin sa bawat group ng individuals na magiging sample ng ating SLM. Then, include foreign products and values only as needed and appropriate to the competencies being covered. So, as much as possible, this foreign practice must be featured in ways that do not prejudice the Philippine products, the Philippine practices, and values. Then, depict expression of Philippine cultures, our technologies, our invention, games, dances, songs, literature, dress, food, festivals, celebrations, practices, costumes, and others guided by the protocols for culture sensitivity. So that's DO 51 Series of 2014. But of course, there are competencies talaga na hindi na siya pang Pilipino lang, di ba? Yung mag-across to Asia and to other foreign countries. So, of course, that's allowable because of the competency. So, when we're talking about citizenship and social responsibility, we are reminded na kapag maging content natin ito, we need to promote respect for the rights of the different sectors of the society. Yan. So, pregnant women, mga elders or senior citizen, the PWDs. Then when we are using the PWDs, we are going to highlight their abilities, not their impairment. Diba, alam natin yan, no? So i-remind lang natin din ang development team about this. Then instead of portraying their disabilities, then of course we will focus on their strengths and their triumphs in day-to-day life. Okay, such as their educational achievements, their professional accomplishments. And do not use the impairment of PWDs in funny stories or in jokes. Do not use them as subjects of caricature, and do not label them as beggars or as liabilities to society. Sometimes, may mga SLMs tayo na, we find it sometimes na yung exercises about tama o mali, di ba? Yung sabihin kung tama ang ginagawa ng bata. So sometimes pinagtawanan ni Juan ang batang pilay. So medyo pag-isipin natin, parang bully siya dito. Of course, bully naman talaga yun. So mag-isip din tayo na nasa social conduct guideline pa ba ito? So kaya sometimes we need to kaya ibahin na lang natin yung tono ng statement para hindi mukhang bully talaga. Okay? So, kasi guided tayo with the social content guidelines. So, medyo mahirap kapag tama o mali tayo, true or false. So, dapat talaga, pag-isipan mabuti kung ano yung dapat na statement doon. So, feature role models who come from different places, historical periods, social-cultural contexts, the genders, abilities, and ages. So they must be of exceptional and acknowledged accomplishment or virtue regardless of their ethnic, cultural, political, region, or affiliation. So part yan sa citizenship and social responsibility. Then avoid views or opinions that highlight stereotypes and encourage cultural, moral, and social insensitivities against particular social classes, gender groups, political affiliations, cultural or religious groups. So ito po ang natin, dapat we have to familiarize this one, and as we are going to read the SLM, kasi may mga samples pa rin, may mga content pa rin, may mga article or text sa SLM na medyo may problem tayo with stereotyping. Kaya po na during sa evaluation, then ipa-revise natin. So it is recommended na to change the statement, to rephrase the statement, and to follow the social content guidelines. Then avoid sexist language, bias, prejudice, and stereotyping of various genders in the depiction of behaviors, home and family roles, professions, occupations, and contributions to society. So, show respect for different family patterns. So, syempre, may family pattern, for example, for nuclear, extended with a single parent or with two parents. Avoid using commercial brand names and corporate logos. Ito kasagaran ang problem natin with the illustrations or images that we use sa SLM. Yung suggestive tayo with the commercial brands at saka mga logos. So, kaya po, we are going to advise the illustrators na mag-illustrate lang siya, pero generic lang. For example, kapag Coca-Cola, so cola na lang, di ba? Or soda, yun man ang mga generic na ano nila. Kasi, pag isabi natin Coca-Cola, so we are now referring to one brand. So, tingnan po natin yan po sa SLM natin. So, as we develop the SLM, nasa crafting stage pa tayo ng SLM. So, we have to let them know na we are going to avoid using commercial brand names and corporate logos. Avoid also differentiating either explicitly or implicitly between the capability of males and females. So ito naman yung sa gender, di ba? Advocate tayo ng gender. So dapat yung SLM natin ay advocate ng gender fair. Portray gender and sexual diversity in a respectful manner using a rights-based approach. Katulad nito, never depict professions as being preferred by a certain gender, just like farming only for males and nursing only for females. So, iwasan na lang natin na mag-sample ng ganyan. And we need to promote healthy and safety standards and precautions, especially po if we require we will require the learners to do performance output. Yung, di ba, may i-perform sila, may laboratory sila, nagagawin nila sa bahay, may mag-experiment. So make sure that the material has precautionary measures. May mga warnings, may mga babala po, para guided ang learner on what to do and not what to do during the process of the performance. Encourage humane treatment and respect for all life forms. So, yung mga sample natin na binato niya ang aso, so medyo foul siya. Kasi, di ba, may life form ang aso, tapos binato niya. Tapos tama o mali. Siyempre, alam natin na mali, part na siya sa assessment natin. So, yun na nga yung very critical in this part kasi mayroon tayong social content guidelines. Okay, so next to the social content guidelines, another thing na pagtitingnan natin is the copyright management. So as we develop the SLMs, during the development phase, of course, the development teams must be oriented with the copyright management. So ito yung ginagawa natin always na during sa first day, magkaroon talaga ng orientation, and part of the orientation will be the copyright management. It is very important because we need to have a material that is free from any copyright infringement or any liability to copyright. Okay? So, yun ang sabi natin, oriented dapat with the intellectual property right. So, if you remember po, we had this one, the BLR, with the assistance of the legal office central office. They had the presentation of this copyright management. Lahat tayo naka-attend po. Lahat ng EPS, lahat ng writers, kasi naka-live yun. So, pag nanood doon sa Facebook or sa YouTube ba yun, so lahat tayo oriented with this. And I believe na bawat SDO po, through the Learning Resource Management section, nag-orient din sila about copyright management. So, ang na lang natin is familiarity, yung parang i-will verse natin ng ating sarili na parang maging part siya ng system na every time mag-develop ng material, lahat aware ang lahat na i-recognize yung what is this copyright management all about. So, number one, as writers and illustrators, they are going to sign up in the artwork, itong assignment agreement. So, dapat si writer and si illustrator ay naka-fill out po ng assignment agreement. This is an agreement na giving right to the Department of Education to use the material in any form. Could be printed, could be converted into digital formats and into various formats, just like yung gumagawa tayo ng RBI material, TVBI material. So dapat nakasign yung writer ng material sa assignment agreement. So yan po ang unang titingnan i-accomplish ng development team. Okay. Then next to part ng copyright management is yung learning resource referencing natin. Yung references, di ba sa part po ng SLM ay mayroon talagang sanggunian sa last part. Minsan, if you notice, ang sanggunian na ginawa ng mga writers ay nilagay lang nila yung milk. Of course, kasali yung milk kasi ginawa naman talaga yun as reference. Pero yung yung proper na pag-entry sa references, yun ang dapat ma-master ng ating development teams. Okay? So, I know medyo mahirap yun talaga, but may guide tayo on how to do it. So the referencing guide natin, i-discuss natin later part. Then after that one, we need to have the inventory of the third-party contents. Okay, this shall be used to list down details of third-party contents, yung inventory of third-party. Part ito sa mga forms na i-fill out ng development team. So why itong third-party contents, this is to ensure or to survey if may ginamit ba na copyrighted material ang development team. Kapag may copyrighted material sa development team, the development team has to secure permission from the copyright owner. Tapos may letter of permission from the copyright owner allowing the development team to use the material, and not only to use it by print, dapat din nakalagay doon na it must be used also into different formats. Para pwede natin ma-convert into RBI, into TVBI, into interactive material, or into digitized material. Okay? So, part yan po ng copyright management. But of course, we need to limit the use of copyrighted materials. Diba yung encouragement natin is to use really the original materials. So, kapag photos ang gamitin natin, di ba may picturean tayo, for example, isang lumad, gusto natin picturean. Di ba mahirap yun din sa kanila? Not only for the lumad, but lahat po na pictures na gagamitin natin. We need to ask permission also. And we need to accomplish the model release form, or yung tinawag natin the photo waiver. So, dapat talaga may photo waiver na allowing us na yung picture na yun to be included in the SLM. Kasi yung SLM, di ba, wide ang distribution, then pwede din ma-convert into digital, tapos lalabas sa TV or lalabas sa radio. So dapat sa TV pala, hindi pala makita ang picture sa radio. Okay. So next, writers shall limit the use, ito yung sabi ko, the third-party contents. Then writers shall certify that works included in the manuscript are original. So, another form to be filled out is the copyright originality form. So, ito po ang i-accomplish natin. Na lahat ng kanyang ginawa, not only for the writer, but also for the illustrator. Diba yung illustrations dapat original? So, i-accomplish din ito ng illustrator, itong copyright originality form. Then, writers shall accomplish the list of references, the bibliography following the recommended entry of the materials. Then writers shall use the LR referencing guide. So later po ang referencing ay pag-usapan natin in a separate discussion. So for quality assurance, dapat proper use of LR referencing guide shall be ensured. Permission to use copyright material shall be available. The inventory of third-party content shall be verified, and plagiarism plagiarism check natin shall be done. Pero wala pa tayong system for this, mga trial pa lang. So, medyo mahirap din mag-subscribe for this plagiarism check. Okay? So, style guide. Ano yung style guide ng ating standard of our style guide? For English, our style guide, we are going to follow the latest edition of the Chicago Manual of Style by the University of the Chicago Press. So ito yung mga spelling and grammar concerns gagamitin natin yung Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr. and E.B. White. So alam ito ng mga languages supervisors. For spelling and word division, we will follow the Merriam-Webster International Dictionary. Then for in-text citations and reference list, we are going to follow the 16th edition of the Chicago Manual of Style. Okay, yung in-text citations, yun ang i-follow natin ha, yung Chicago Manual of Style. May quick guide tayo for this Chicago Manual of Style. Okay, to style learning resources written in Filipino, the grammar rules and standards set by the Commission sa Wikang Filipino. So yun din ang gamitin natin for yung tawag na the KWF, yung kanilang binigay na guidelines. So, yan ang i-follow natin of 2013. Sa mother tongue, ang i-follow natin ay yung ortografiya ng sinubuan ng Binisaya. Diba? Yun man ang gigamit natin. Kung sa yung natin, yung generic na sinubuan na mother tongue. Pero may mga mother tongue na tayo with a different ethnic group. So iba din ang kanilang orthography. So kapag nag-contextualize sila, then they are going to use their own orthography. So hindi na sila bounded with the orthography ng sinubuan ng Binisaya. Referencing natin, we are going to use the Chicago Manual of Styles. If you remember, during our orientations last, we have series of orientations every time that we're going to develop SLMs or any learning resources, we give references. Part sa references or meaning to say yung mga readings para sa ating writers. Kasi after orientation, they need to revisit, ano yung narinig during the orientation. So we give these materials to the development teams. Naka-Google Drive ito. So every time na may orientation. So the referencing natin, we're going to follow the Chicago Manual of Style. So there is what we call my in-text citation talaga, or meaning to say we're going to reflect the source note of the text that we borrowed, the images that we borrowed also. But provided sana that this borrowed materials must have also permission from the copyright owner. Unless po na yung site, kapag nasa internet ito, unless yung site po ay for commons siya, for Creative Commons. Meaning to say na mayroong permission doon na you can copy lang the material without any asking permission. Di ba mabasa man po yan kasi may copyright restrictions din doon sa website na kokopyahan ng materials. So yung point natin here is every time na may ganitong situation, we need to have the source note. So itong nakalagay po dito, may source noting. And then, this is our style and format. Binigay na natin ito na parang assignment to the assignment ng bawat members ng development team to master this one or to familiarize this style or this format. So kaya we give the material as their reference para mag-study sila. And even as we need also to study this para pag mag-review tayo with the SLM, we know na ay tama yung pagkagawa ng source noting and the bibliography niya or yung list of references. Ayan. So, ko na lang ito, i-run through ko na lang ito. So, yung bibliographic entries naman niya. Ito na yung makita natin sa sanggunian or sa reference. Okay. Now, these are our common errors in learning resources. What are the common errors? Errors occur in text, layout, and illustrative materials. When we see text, ito yung mga text errors. Non-compliance with the curriculum, copyright infringement, factual inaccuracy, social content lapses, sweeping generalizations, faulty grammar, wrong choice of words, vague or inappropriate activities, incorrect directions or activities. So may samples tayo ng konti. So when we say non-compliance with the curriculum, Meaning, kasi tayo ngayon, melt-based dapat siya, no? Pero may mga SLM tayo na parang hindi siya melt-based. Ano siya, parang doon na siya sa LC pa rin siya, pero hindi siya melts. Hindi siya nasali sa list of melts. So, ayan. So, yun ang i-recheck natin. Then, factual inaccuracy. So, may facts dito. Ito yung sample. So, inaccurate na siya because this concrete sculpture was destroyed by the NPA in 2002. Right? Sabi dito, if you're heading for Baguio City, you will notice a 30-meter high sculptured concrete head of former President Ferdinand Marcos called the Marcos Bust. Social Studies 4, text 2009. Pero in 2002, destroyed na yan siya. Okay, factual inaccuracy. Ayan, sample ko yan ng factual inaccuracy. This is one of the songs our pre-Hispanic ancestors sang. Okay, sing it. Pero ang kanyang kanta is Leron Leron, My Sweet. Social content lapses. So ito, sample po. Boys are also expected to sweep or mop the floor, get a pail of water, water the plants, or feed the pets at home. They are assigned to do this because of their physical strength. So that's social content lapses, diba? Gender fair. Yung gender sensitivity. So girls are normally assigned to do household chores. They are expected to do the laundry, wash the dishes, iron the clothes, cook meals, or take care of their younger brothers or sisters. So these duties are associated with girls being of their feminine roles. So again, that is social content lapses. So another, depiction of males and females in professions. And sweeping generalizations. The Chinese love opium. Yan, yun ang sabi niya. So sweeping. And hindi naman yata lahat ng Chinese love it, right? Okay, faulty grammar. Ito yung very common, no? Yung grammar natin. Yan. Then common grammar errors. Subject-verb agreement, pronoun antecedent agreement. So makita natin ito during the second phase of evaluation, that is the language review. Mas makita ito na error. Then common grammar error also is the tense. Yung nag-start tayo ng past, for example, tapos nag-shift na naman tayo to present tense. So yan, common error din yan. Then another is the point of view. Point, di ba, nag-start ng I, the first person point of view, then nagkaroon na naman ng third person point of view. So, that's a common error. So, vague or inappropriate activities. For example ito po, bumisita sa World Trade Center. Diba? Ang layo naman ng World Trade Center. At gumawa ng isang pagsusuri tungkol sa kasalukuyang kalakaran ng kalakan sa Pilipinas. O, diba? Medyo mahirap, no, magpunta sa World Trade Center. Then gumawa ng isang research sa pamamagitan ng pagbisita sa, diba, ganito lang. Tapos ano ang kanyang gagawin? Parang inappropriate yung activities. So titingnan natin yan po sa SLM. Incorrect directions or activities. Make a comic strip to show how important it is to your family. Okay po. So, layout errors. So, sa layout naman, poor yung visual hierarchy of headings, then wrong placement of art in relation to text, overuse of icons and unclear icons, then backseat design, lack of unified look, then lack of white space or breathing space. Ito kapag maging layout error na ito, lalo na kapag nag-economize tayo, na gusto lang natin na, 8 pages lang ito or 10 pages lang ito. So we need to, to compress our text and even the images that we use. Yan. So mga layout errors na yan siya. Pero, not all okay. But itong layout errors natin with our SLM right now, medyo doon lang tayo nagkaroon ng error sa images natin kapag gumamit tayo ng mostly gumamit na tayo ng mga images taken from the internet. So medyo nahirapan talaga tayo when it comes to that. So we need sana na i-illustrate nila yung material. So medyo yun ang i-work out natin when it comes to images, when it comes to illustrations na ilagay natin sa SLM. Okay? Then errors in drawings and photos, yun na. Kapag may drawing tayo and photos, ang errors natin na titingnan, yung incomplete art. Meaning, yung incomplete art, meaning, nag-drawing ka, nag-illustrate siya ng tao, pero hindi makita ang kanyang paa niya. Walang barrier ba? Walang nakaharang na table. So, makita na wala siyang paa. So, therefore, incomplete na ang kanyang art. Then, meron ding floating art, distorted features, unnecessary art, wrong proportion, mix of styles on a page. So, kapag illustration in one page, dapat illustration lahat. Hindi natin i-insert yung pictures or photos na kinuha na ilagay natin na parang magkasama sila in one page with the illustration. Then, wrong size, then vague ang art, then wrong choice of illustrative material to use. So, yan po ang titingnan natin with
Nawala daw ito, ma'am. Nawala siya daw. Sige lang yung istorya. So, kamitan na, yan na siya. Susan. Sige, malagyan na siya istorya. Ha? Kasi, hindi na.
Hello?
Siya gawa na isa sa area.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am Ann.
Yes po. Are we still Lutz? Okay pa ba ako?
Yes, ma'am. Okay pa, ma'am.
Okay. So, sorry for that, ha? Okay, we're just, parang may kasi nawala daw ang signal. So, we thought nawala tayo. Okay. So, ito po yung, again, i-recap ko lang itong errors in drawings and photos. Hello? Yes, Ma'am Sue? Yes, Ma'am Sue. Hello?
Nawala, yun ang inyong signal.
Nawala tayo, Miss Luch. Nawala tayo.
Madungog ka na mo, Ann.
Okay
Wala ka na putol.
Ma'am ka, ma'am Ann. Ma'am ta na putol.
Wala ka na putol. Basta ng ilang signal ang Ann.
Okay po. Sige po. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Sorry po. Ayan. Sige po. So, we're about to end with my presentation also. Sorry, lang natin yung, kapag drawings and photos tayo, of course, we need to orient our illustrators of this na kapag may illustration siya, dapat complete yung art niya. Diba? So, medyo capacitated naman din sa illustrators about this. Yung na lang natin po, i-avoid natin is, as much as possible, if we can have it illustrated, dapat illustrated yung material para may originality tayo. Then, if impossible to have it, then we will use photos or images. Mas maganda po na it will be taken by the writers or development teams na sila na yung mag-picture para yung source ng picture ay galing lang sa development team. Ganun po. Para maiwasan natin ang paggamit ng third-party contents. But if hindi talaga pwede kasi yung material, doon lang natin kukunin so hingi talaga tayo ng permission from the copyright owner. And provided also na yung site na pinagkunan natin ay nasa Creative Commons and allowing us to use it for free. Yung ganon. So, okay po yun. So, may tinawag din tayong fair use, di ba, for educational use. So, ito po ay, we will have a separate, yung another round of orientation about the intellectual property right and the use of fair use in our learning resources. So, we will schedule another activity during the quality assurance of the learning resources that we are going to develop. So, maging part yun with ni Ma'am Shello with us. So, pinag-usapan namin na part talaga ng orientation for the first day, yung copyright talaga, ang pag-usapan, IPR, para mas lalong makapacitate ang ating mga writers and even us, the management teams, makapacitate tayo when it comes to copyright management. Okay? So, thank you so much po. So, I hope na medyo na-reorient tayo with the different standards and guidelines ng LRs. Yun po ang mga salient points na dapat nating tandaan. So, natin, number 1, yung IPR, then compliance to the learning competencies, then social content guidelines, na compliant tayo with the social content guidelines. Sa social content guidelines, isipin natin that yung mga yung number 1, yung dapat walang biases, walang prejudice, dapat equal treatment. Yun ang parang quick lang natin na parang pag sabihin, content, social content ito. So parang equal talaga yung treatment ng material. Now, we respect one another, individualities, differences ng bawat personalities. Okay? Then sa copyright management, as much as possible, we will use really original materials. Then referencing, Chicago Manual of Style tayo. Mayroon tayong source noting and mayroon tayong entries in the bibliography. Okay? So thank you so much po. God bless everyone. So this time, we're done with the LR standards. So we will go now with the background and terms of reference. Kasi yung task force na itong pag-usapan natin, ano ba yung terms of reference? Ano yung mga roles and responsibilities ng bawat member ng task force? To give us this one, let us have Ma'am Shelo Estrada. Ma'am She.
Good morning once again. According to DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones, if quality education is expected to be offered, it is crucial that quality learning resources shall be provided to the learners and teachers. Quality learning resources enable the teachers to better assist and guide learners in mastering skills, knowledge, and experiences that will support learners in school and in life. In the new normal, majority of the development, the evaluation, review, and the conformance review processes of the SLMs were done online in the respective homes and or offices of the development teams. Hence, numerous reports on errors of the learning materials released by DepEd were received, which prompted the Department of Education to create the Error Watch initiative, but this does not mean that our development team is inefficient. We in the regional office sincerely appreciate the efforts of our respective counterparts and the development teams. It only means that perfection is really hard to achieve, much more in this new normal. Aside from the SLMs, which were released by the Central Office of the Department of Education, the DepEd Regional Office had also initiated the development of locally developed SLMs to address the absence of Central Office developed SLMs, which production was tremendously affected by the severe effect of the pandemic in Luzon. And we understand also here in the regional office that the different SDOs within the region had also been initiating their own SLMs aside from the regional SLMs which were released to you, right? So this particular activity has the objective of providing a strategic procedure that shall provide immediate remedy and solution to the errors that may be found in the SLMs and other forms of learning materials which were released by the national and regional offices of the Department of Education for learners of Region 11. This is for the purpose of providing our learners with error-free learning materials. So as much as possible, we really are aiming to provide the learners with error-free learning materials because that is one of the objectives, or that is one of the topics which had been always mentioned in our Rexicom. It is also, it also aims to equip the task force with specific steps on how to process any reported errors, okay? So as you can see, or as you have heard, listened to Dr. Almasan kanina, na revisit na natin yung mga LR standards. So by now, at least we will all be be able to address all the errors that might be reported in the future. This is also to make sure that any reported errors shall be immediately taken care of to avoid further criticisms rather, that may expose the agency or the Department of Education to further trial by publicity. Kasi grabe ang taga-media, di ba? Pag may makitang mali, grabe na talaga ang atake ng media. So in order for us to be protected from such further exposure to trial by publicity, as much as possible in our own little way here in the regional office, down to the 3 levels of governance, down to the schools, we will be able to craft a mechanism, which is the Task Force Error Watch, which will be tasked to address these particular problems of errors or reported errors in the future. Okay, so I am now going to present to you the terms of reference. As mentioned a while ago, there are four levels of governance which are expected to be actively involved in this Task Force Error Watch. So these are the regional office, the schools division offices, the district offices, and the school level. So there are 4 levels of governance. In this particular terms of reference, there are 3 columns in here: the level of governance, those who are involved in each level of governance, and their role or function. Okay, so in the regional office, the chief CLMD spearheads the implementation of the Task Force Error Watch. Na-open mo na, Lodge, ang yung sa terms of reference. Okay. She exercises discretion on the acceptability of the suggested correction or corrections. Now, the EPS in the LRMDC will create a hotline email address where reports of errors in the SDO level shall be forwarded. She serves as the administrator of the said RO hotline email address. She checks on the identified errors. I-check niya kung ano ba yung reported na errors, and then determines as to what learning area is involved in that particular reported error. After the determination as to what learning area is involved, she is now going to introduce the correction to the forward the notice of error to the concerned learning area education program supervisor. So for example, the particular error is science, for example. That will be forwarded to Dr. Maria Liza Berandoy, and so on and so forth, and to other EPS. Okay. All right. So, bakit daw siya in example? Ikaw ako nakita, Liz. Sorry. Okay. So, after that, the EPS in the LRMDC will introduce the correction as soon as the learning area EPS will be forwarding the suggested correction. Okay. Introduces the correction to the mother manuscript upon receipt of the approved corrections from the CLMD chief. Prepare a notice of correction for the recommendation of the chief CLMD and approval of the regional director. Okay, so another person to be involved here, persons who are going to be involved in the regional office are the EPS in all learning areas and the EPS in the PAPS, okay, the special programs. They are going to determine the veracity of the identified error with utmost diligence. They are going to base it sa standards na present ni Dr. Almazan kanina. Okay? Provides the necessary correction within 3 days from receipt of the notice of error. So we are providing them timeline kasi pag merong error, dapat i-address yan siya within 3-day period from the receipt of the notice of error. Have the suggested correction approved by the CLMD chief, and then officially submits the approved correction to the EPS in charge in the ROLRMDC through the hotline email address within 3 days from receipt of the notice of error. Okay, so another person to be involved in this is the ROADM EPS. She receives and collates quarterly reports and summary of errors from the SDO level. She will collaborate with the ROLRFs on the assessment of the SDO quarterly reports and summary of errors for possible policy formulation. So yun siya yung function ng regional office. Now let's go to the function of the SDOs, the schools division offices. Next slide, Luge, please. Okay, so in the schools division office, the chief CID spearheads the implementation of the task force error watch in the SDO level. She takes charge in the forwarding of reported errors to the RO level through the RO hotline email address in the SD developed SLMs in case of CO or developed SLMs. Okay. So in the case of CO or RO developed SLMs, reported error or errors shall be forwarded to the RO hotline. But in the case of the schools division developed SLMs, that will remain in your level and you are going to attend to it because the developers there are the SDOs, right? Okay. The chief CID exercises discretion on the acceptability of the suggested corrections on SDO developed learning materials. She leads or he leads the conduct rather of the orientation for district task force error watch. So from here, the CID chief or the SDO TFEW force is expected to lead the conduct of the orientation for district task force error watch. Okay? So the EPS in the LRMDC or the the SDO EPS for LR creates a hotline email address where reports of errors from the district level shall be forwarded. So dapat prior to the conduct of the orientation for the district task force error watch by the SDO, meron na kayong hotline email address wherein which you can give to the district PSDSS. Okay? The LR manager serves as the administrator of the said SDO hotline email address. Assists the CID chief in officially forwarding the reported errors in the CO or RO developed SLMs to the RO hotline. So, in as far as CO and RO developed SLMs, all the reported errors shall be forwarded to the RO hotline. The manager checks on the identified errors. Okay, SDO developed errors only because it is the RO LR who will be checking or determining as to which learning area this particular error belongs pag CO or RO developed SLMs. But in the case of SDO developed SLMs, it will be the SDO LR manager. Okay. He determines or she determines as to what learning area is involved. That is in case of SDO developed SLMs. Kasi pag hindi sa inyo sa RO or sa CO, diretso na yan sa RO na hotline. It shall within 3 days from receipt of the report forward the notice of error to the concerned SDO learning area apps. Yeah, learning area apps. And then introduces the correction to the mother manuscript as soon as the SDO learning area apps forwarded to him the correction as approved by your CID chiefs. This involves the SDO developed SLMs. Now, in the case of the the LR manager will also prepare a notice of correction to school heads and public schools district supervisors for SDO SLMs through the recommendation of the CID chief and the approval of the SDS. So pag sa inyo lang talaga yung materials, you are going to settle or you are going to address the problem in your level. Hindi na kailangan dadalhin pa sa RO na level kasi hindi siya dumaan dito sa amin. But for those officially released by the RO, ang RO ang magte-take care as to the correction. Okay? So, another person in the SDO who's gonna be involved, another persons or the other persons who's gonna be involved in this actively are the APS in all learning areas and the EPS in the PAPS. Kasi sa mga PAPS, meron din tayong mga materials just like the SPFL, just like the EPS, the SPED, yung sa madrasa, yung sa iPad, meron tayong mga ganyan. So, if in case those materials are released by the RO, dadalhin talaga yung reported error dito sa RO hotline. So in the case of SDO developed SLMs, ito yung role ng mga EPS in all learning areas. Determines the veracity of the identified error with utmost diligence, provides necessary correction if possible, have the suggested correction approved by the CID chief, and submits the approved correction to the EPS in charge in the SDO LRMDC. Okay. So the SDO ADMFs shall also receive and collate the quarterly reports on summary of errors from the district level. He may now forward the SDO quarterly summary of reports on errors to the RO ADMFs within 5 days from the last day of every quarter. So after 5 days from the last day of the quarter, the ADMFs is expected to forward all the collated quarterly reports from the district level. Now let's go to the next level of governance. This is now the district level. So the district level is headed by the PSDS. The PSDS now will organize and implement the TFEW, the Task Force Error Watch, in the district level. She designates a district error watch coordinator, conducts an online orientation and information dissemination on the Task Force Error Watch to the school heads in collaboration with the SDO. Okay? The District Task Force Error Watch Coordinator, preferably the District ADM Coordinator, assists the PSDS in the implementation of the Task Force Error Watch, prepares the collated reports of errors from schools within the district, submit said report of error or errors to the SDO hotline email address upon approval of the PSDS, maintains a logbook of reported errors with records of actions taken and remedies or solutions received. So it is the District Task Force Error Watch Coordinator who shall maintain a logbook of reported errors. She will also forward the quarterly summary of errors to the SDO ADM Coordinator for assessment and future basis for policy formulation. Dumating na kasi yung tagahatid ng food namin. So, pasensya na. Yes, okay. All right. So, another person in the district level who will be part of the Task Force Error Watch is this Deputy District Task Force Error Watch Coordinator, preferably a school head. She serves as member of the Task Force Error Watch in the district level, actively collaborate with the PSDS and the Task Force Error Watch Coordinator in the implementation of the Task Force Error Watch. Yes. As you notice, parang wala masyadong mga master teachers na involved dito kasi we are avoiding yung situation na ayaw kasi ni RD na may mga na mga master teachers kasi daw master teachers are supposed to be in the classroom. They're supposed to be with the students or with the teachers in assisting them in the instructional supervision or in the delivery of instruction. So medyo hindi tayo na mga master teachers dito. All right. So the last level of governance, the last but not the least, okay, is the school level. So, Lud, sa school level na tayo, Lud. All right. All right. So, the school level is headed by the school head. She organizes and implements the Task Force Error Watch in the school level. Designates a school error watch. So pag mag-designate tayo ng school error watch, kindly inform the school head na talagang meron siyang document na school error watch coordinator talaga siya. With one teacher and the PTA president as members. Why are we trying to let the PTA president be involved in this? It's because it's the PTA president who has that active involvement in the community. So ang chismis about errors can be gathered from the community. So the PTA president or the officials of the PTA can actually help us in getting the rumored or the alleged errors in the field. That is why we are, as much as possible, inviting them to be part of this, okay? Conducts an online orientation and information dissemination on the Task Force Error Watch for the teachers and parents, and ensures the active participation of the PTA officials in the Task Force Error Watch orientation. Now, this Task Force Error Watch Coordinator has the following roles and functions. Assist the school head in the implementation of the Task Force Error Watch, prepares the collated reports of errors from teachers and external stakeholders, submits said notice or report of error or errors to the district hotline email address upon approval of the school head, maintains a logbook of reported errors with records of action taken and remedies or solutions received, forwards the summary of errors to district ADM coordinator for assessment and future basis for policy formulation. Now, the school ADM coordinator is another person who is expected to be actively involved in this school-level Task Force Error Watch. She serves as member of the Task Force Error Watch in the school level, receives and collates quarterly reports and summary of errors from the teachers, works with the SDO Task Force Error Watch on the quarterly summary of reports on errors. So those are the 4 levels of governance which are expected to be part or to be involved in this Task Force Error Watch actively as we implement this immediately yata right after this orientation. So all of you is expected talaga to conduct the orientation in your level. Okay, so now let's go to the monitoring and evaluation. What will be happening in the monitoring and evaluation of this? So we are not just going to implement this, we are also going to monitor and to evaluate as to what is happening in the evaluation or in the implementation. So monitoring and evaluation of the Task Force Error Watch shall start immediately after the launching of the program, after the establishment of the program actually. Today is the day wherein we are establishing this. So right after this, we are expecting already that the SDOs will be conducting the Task Force Error Watch orientation after this, okay? The quarterly results of the monitoring and evaluation shall be submitted on or before the last day of every quarter. The following are the offices and units which will implement, monitor, and or will be affected by the monitoring of the Task Force Error Watch. The school level, the district level, the schools division level, and then the regional level. So the school head leads the monitoring of any report of errors in coordination with the school error watch coordinator. The school head ensures the submission of the quarterly report to the district office on the monitoring and evaluation of the program with the help of the school error watch coordinator. The PSDS shall be responsible for the monitoring of the Task Force Error Watch implementation in the schools within its area of responsibility. The PSDSS ensure the submission of the quarterly report to the SDO office on the monitoring and evaluation of the program with the help of the District Error Watch Coordinator. Now, the ADM supervisor under the Curriculum and Instruction Division, in coordination with the Learning Resource Supervisor in the division, shall take charge in the monitoring of the Task Force Error Watch implementation. They shall collate the monitoring reports of the districts within their SDO and shall forward its findings to the regional office. The regional level LR supervisor and the ADM regional office coordinator, in coordination with the learning area supervisors in the CLMD, lead the monitoring and evaluation, focusing on the entire implementation. So we will also be monitoring as to when you will have, when are you going to have your orientation. And then the LR supervisor, we will be monitoring the entire implementation of the Task Force Error Watch. They shall, with the approval of the CLMD Chief Supervisor, be responsible to furnish a copy of the said report, collated report of the monitoring, together with all the corresponding action or actions taken for each case to the Office of the Regional Director. So those are the terms of reference. That is the flow on how this Task Force Error Watch will be implemented. And I hope I was able to share with you clearly, or if it is not that clear because our signal is intermittent, I am very much willing to share this to the ADM or to the LR coordinators or to the CID chiefs in your SDOs, so that you are going to use these terms of reference when you are going to have your orientation on the Task Force Error Watch in the different levels of governance. Okay. Chief, ikaw na mo sunod siguro after ani Chief. Okay. Sandali. Okay. So we're done with the terms of references, and then Luge, paki-flash doon sa report of errors, the template, Luge. Yung sa template, okay. So what is being flashed at this very moment is the template for the report of errors on SLMs, and I do not know if the LR do have an improved template of this, but temporarily this is the report of errors, the template for the report of errors on SLMs, okay. So we will be having our workshop, and Lugin will be, actually, as what I have mentioned kanina, this is not really a workshop. We are just going to get the names who will be involved actively as expected persons that we are going to connect with when it comes to the monitoring of this Task Force Error Watch in the SDO level. So Lugin will be flashing, or the link, diba, meron na, Lodge, so that you are going to, within 5 minutes or 10, you are going to log into this link, the SDOs or the CID chief, and then you are going to answer that those questions in the link. So Anne, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma'am She. At least we know already the terms of reference, meaning to say the roles and responsibilities of all levels of governance. Thank you. Maraming salamat po. So this time, we are going to have the workshop as instructed. You are going to click the link po. Miss Luch, pwede po malagay sa chat room ang link para maklik na lang nila. Okay. So, pwede Miss Luch, doon natin ilagay sa chat room. Paki-open po ng chat room.
Yes, ma'am. Wait lang po, ma'am.
Okay, Ma'am She, we will request the CID chief, Ma'am She, to facilitate the filling out of this form, yung sa link po.
Nakulbaan mo, kuhanin niya mapatay, guro kuhanin lang isa yung uyab ba? Ha? Isa yung uyab, uy.
Sino niya na ng uyab, Jen? Chat lang.
Ala.
Miss Luch, okay, kindly click po the link, then we will give po how many minutes, ma'am? 15 minutes for the workshop po to accomplish the form. We would like to request our dearest CID chief to facilitate the SDO's accomplishing of this template or doing this workshop po for 15 minutes. 15 ba? We will give 20 minutes. Pwede po 20 minutes tayo with the workshop.
And there are just how many questions, Luge? How many blanks are they going to fill out, Luge? 4 lang or 5?
Okay, so pwede lang, ma'am, pwede lang ito 10 minutes at 15 minutes.
Yes. Kasi i-gather lang natin yung mga Tao.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sige po. Thank you. By division ba ang link na ito, Miss Luge, or same lang ito? Same lang ito lahat?
General yata.
Okay po. Thank you. So,
Patay. Oh my
per
gosh.
SDO po ang per SDO po ang mag-accomplish ng form na yan po.
SDO lang.
Opo. My question po dito, Ma'am She, who will be the ADM coordinator po? Sino ito? Sir Joey Dinopol. This is addressed to your SDO, sir.
Ang ADM coordinator sa division, meron na tayong ADM coordinator, ADM supervisor.
Okay po.
Apo.
Okay. So, nag-starts na po yung 15 minutes po. Then while doing that, you can have your water break, your CR break also while doing the workshop. Thank you.
Siguro while waiting for them, baka may mga questions, yung masagot lang din natin. We will accommodate kung baka may mga clarifications.
Sige po. Okay po. Ma'am Sher, we will ask a copy of your presentation then so that we can give our materials to the SDOs.
Yes,
para
yes.
during their orientation also.
Opo.
Ma'am, may question po dito sa chat room. Basahin ko. Ma'am, pa-share also the recorded meeting. Okay po, we will share that one. We will share na lang through a Google Drive para mas madali nila ma-access. Thank you, Ma'am Rosie. We will do that po, Doc Els. May question po si Sir Peter Miharis. Bakit hindi daw kasali ang PSDS sa orientation ngayon? May orientation po ba daw sa
Kasi
kanila?
meron, based on the terms of reference that I have discussed a while ago, yung SDO will be conducting an orientation sa mga PSDSS nila. And then the PSDSS shall be conducting it in the school, for the school heads within their AOR.
Okay, thank you. So yan po ang sagot natin, Sir Peter. So it's gonna be in the level of the SDO. Yes po, Ma'am Sue, we will share po the presentations. So we will collect the presentations po, the presentation of Ma'am Shello and my presentation and the recording of this meeting. Then we will put that one in one Google Drive and we will share the link of that material. Okay? Ma'am, may question si Chief Edward. There are 5 links presented here. Ang sagot natin dito, Miss Luge, kay pareho lang ito na link lahat, no? Na 5 lang, na multiple lang natin ang copies.
Wala nakakita ang uban.
Okay. Sir, lang po siya, pinabalik-balik lang po siya para po ma-access lang ng iba. Kasi mawala man siya, no? Mga ilang minutes na hindi mo ma-open. Okay. Same link lang po ang yung form na yan po. Okay, ALS coordinator, automatically our ADM coordinator. My question po dito, Ma'am Shello, with Ma'am Lorna.
Yeah, depende yan siya kung sinong i-designate. Pero sa pagkakalam ko sa TACUM, their ALS coordinator is the same coordinator assigned for ADM. Parang si Dr. Ibita.
Okay po. So, meaning to say po, depende lang po.
It does not necessarily mean na pag ALS siya na yung ADM, but it merely lies on the discretion of the SDS.
Okay po.
Opo.
Thank you, Ma'am She.
Doc Ann, may question si Chief Arlene.
Yes po, Chief. Ma'am She, for Davao de Oro, can we reflect a name of our recommendee for ADM coordinator? Ma'am She?
Hello, Ma'am Shi. Wala pa kasi siyang designation from SDS.
Siya, ma'am, no? To be recommended pa.
Oo, kasi ako kasi
Pero,
yung tatlong
okay, pero unsa naman na siya, Lynn, di ba? Murag, okay na si SDS. So, ikaw, depende sa imo. I-reflect na lang.
I-reflect lang siguro na ako kay.
Oo, yes. Kay,
wala pa magod na ano niya. Kay
Yes.
ako ana ang tulo, Ma'am Shi ba? Murag na mo kaya LR supervisor.
I would be very glad to work again with Rene Pakpakin in the ADM. Yes.
Yeah. He is the one po. Ay, Diyos ko.
Gani, Lynn. Salamat ka, Lynn, ha, sa suporta, Lynn.
Sige, ma'am. Sige, ma'am.
Sige.
Thank you, Doc Els. Dana po ang Davao City sa pag-fill out nila ng kanilang error watch members. Thank you po, Davao City. Kindly, ma-check man ni Miss Luch, no? Miss Luch, kung sino na ang done sa, sa pag-fill out ng form. Miss Luch, kindly check Miss Luch, anong division na ang naka-fill out. So, we have here Davao City, done na daw po. So, Davao City, Davnor is also done. So, we will verify that one. Miss Luch, kindly verify. Done na din daw ang Digu City. Thank you. So, 3 divisions na po ang nagsabi na done. Together with Davao de Oro, 4. So, kindly verify na lang sa imong copy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mag-ano ka ganun?
Mati, Davao de Oro.
Papaki-flash na lang ng yung status ng
Okay pa, ma'am.
Accomplishment ng form. Thank you. So far we have 4 SDOs done with the form. Ayan, thank you. Yan po, no? Ito yung makita natin na 11 responses. Bakit marami? Dumami ang responses. 11. So, complete na yung 11.
Wala, delete pa, ma'am.
Wala, no? Delete, no? Okay, sige.
Wala pa ang Panabo.
Panabo City is not yet, pa daw, accomplishing the form.
Del Sur.
Del Sur also. Who else? Okay, Panabo City and Davao del Sur. We have Chief Cherilyn and Chief Jan Wario.
Okay na ang Panabo, ma'am, na
Okay, Panabo is done. Thank you so much, Panabo. So we have 5 SDOs completely accomplished the form.
Pero ang sa task force coordinator sa Panabo, ma'am, wala pa naka-state.
Okay.
State.
Please, lang po, paki-complete lang pala po yung task force daw, coordinator ng Panabo. Kulang pa po daw ng entry.
Wala pa. Ang Oriental po di ay, ma'am, wala pa.
Davao Oriental. Davao Oriental po, Chief, Jean Pelayo, Chief Jean. Davao Oriental.
Dabsor is still working on it, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, Dabsor still working. Noted, Sir Elvin.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
Ay, Dabs din.
And
Ay, hello, Ma'am Sue. Yes, Ma'am Sue.
wala man ko nag-join ang amuang chief kaya na sila sa monitoring ba.
Okay, Ma'am Sue.
O niya, wa po ko'y dala diri nga laptop.
Sige po, noted po, Ma'am Sue.
Late na lang siguro na mag-submit.
Okay po, sige po. Within the day po, Ma'am Sue.
Sa?
Within the day.
Ako lang i-message kay murag wala sila signal dito mong sa katiil.
Ay, oo, sige, sige, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, done po ang Del Sur.
Okay, Davao del Sur is done. Miss Luch, kindly verify.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Davao del Sur. Okay. For Davao City, they have the same COOR for ADM and Task Force Watch Error. Si Ma'am May Ann Humuwat. Okay. Noted, Doc Els. Okay, so how many SDOs na, Luther? Ano na lang ang hinihintay natin na SDO? Ano muna natin si Davao Oriental within the day na
Oriental na lang, ma'am.
Okay. Sige. So, complete, 10 out of 11 na tayo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much po. Chief Jean, yung Davao Oriental po kasi may pa sila, they have to confirm pa with the names of their coordinators po or members in the task force. So, Davao Oriental is requesting us na i-wait muna natin ang kanilang response within the day po.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay po. Okay, Ma'am She, so we're done with the workshop. Ma'am Shelo, we're done with the workshop po. Hello, Ma'am She.
Yes, Ann. So,
okay.
Let's now proceed to the next part of the activity. Thank you.
Thank you so much po to the SDOs. So we gathered already your task force. So the technical support team with Ms. Lugina will treat that one para maging hard copy yan sa atin. Okay. So thank you so much. So this time po we are going to have our chief, Dr. Mary Jean Aldiger, for the official declaration of Task Force Error Watch.
Good morning once again. I'm very glad that this is the day that God appointed us to gather together for this purpose. We've been having a lot of training, a lot of conferences, but this time it's different because we really need to take serious focus on this learning resource materials for both the teachers and the students, so that we need to think ahead of how could we address those learning materials if possible, di makalabas sa ating mga meticulous eyes yung mga materials that needs to be improved. So for sure, with your commitment and your dedication and your passion for the Department of Education, we will take off this program, this implementation successfully, God willing. So with that, I would like also to ask assistance from my fellow chiefs here in curriculum and instruction, for curriculum and instruction. If you were not able to, or if not all your education program supervisors attended the training today or attend the training today, may I request that you will conduct an orientation also to your level, so and include the education programs, the PSDSS, because what I have here in my mind when I said when the thought of calling all education program supervisor, I thought that PSDSS also will be part of the said call, because I remember at the time when I asked for PIR attendance of education program supervisors, some of the chiefs mentioned that PSDSS are part already of the structure of education program supervisor in the division. So with that understanding, I thought that they will be part of today's activity. But nevertheless, it's not the end of the thought. We have to extend also our assistance to our PSDSS much more to the level of our teachers. So with that, I am declaring that this Project eWatch will be officially implemented here in the Department of Education, Region 11. So we will be sending you a memorandum for this matter of having this Project eWatch officially declared as part of the implementation and program of the Department of Education initiative. God bless everyone.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you so much, Chief. And now, the task force
Congrats,
area of Region 11 has been officially declared and has been officially implemented. Lights on po tayo. Lights on. Camera on po tayo. Sorry
God
for
bless
the
us all.
interruptions. Okay, mag-start tayo with by division muna tayo. Okay, we will start with
Please open inyong phone. Liz.
Davao de Oro divisions. Okay, come on lang po kayo. Lahat po na. Chief, headed by Chief Arden Lee. Yeah. Davao de Oro. Miss Lujay. Yes po, Chief.
Before we are going to have our picture taking, I would like to announce to everyone that we have a program here in the Department of Education Region 11 Project CAP IT, CUP-IT. Ang ibig sabihin ng CAP IT is Catch Up Program for Individualized Performances or Performance. Those materials will be developed by our writers. It is a differentiated type of material wherein we are going to cater children who are at risk in terms of their level. When we say at risk in terms of their level, they are in this grade level, but their performance it seems like their performance is in the lower level. So we are not this type of material is not focusing on the grade level, but focusing on the mastery of the skill. Like, if I am a grade 5 pupil, if my reading skill is for grade 4, then I will be reading the grade 4 material and I will be doing the activities in grade 4 material as long as the competency or the skill to be developed is the same. So if the skill to be developed is not in detail in grade 5 and I cannot do the task in the not in detail of grade 5, I will use the material in grade 4, or if I could not still use it independently, I may use the material in grade 3, because we are after on the performance of the learner to its level, to their level. So it's not by grade, but it's a differentiated material where they can be best at developing the competencies. So we will introduce also, it's Davao del Norte IT students now who use those materials started last Monday. So we will still introduce that CAP IT program to all of us here. Thank you very much. And I would like also to ask my congratulations and my gratitude to all of you for helping DepEd Region 11 from the start of our COVID experiences, wherein we still give quality education to our learners. My heartfelt and my deepest thank you and congratulations to all of you.
Maraming salamat, Chief. Ayan po. So the COP for IP or the CAP for IP po, that's initiated by the Chief of the CLMD by Dr. Aldiger po and utilized now by the Davao de Oro learners, or Davao del Norte learners. Ayan. Maraming salamat po. And we would like to extend also, Chief, the gratitude to the writers of those learning and activity sheets, the development teams, and the evaluators. Okay, so Davao de Oro na po ang nasa screen. Ayan, Miss Luj, paki-click lang po, pa-picture tayo with the Davao de Oro.
Renato.
Looking for Sir Renato
For your comment, sir.
Dana, Miss Luj.
Open your cam po, ma'am. 1, 2, 3, smile. Sige pa, isa pa. 1, 2, 3, smile.
Okay. Next is Davao Oriental. Ma'am Susan, Davao Oriental. Kunti lang kayo, Davao Oriental.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Orientation kayo, Davao Oriental.
Okay, kinagapahan.
Ayan. Okay, that's Davao Oriental, Miss Luz.
Okay. Done na, ma'am.
Wala ba
Okay,
ko
thank you
nagkuhan?
po.
Wa
To
ba yan
Chief
ang direktaro?
Yes, we will give the material po. We will give the materials po na ginamit ko sa presentation.
Pwede picture na lang nato diha sa
Thank you
gibutan.
po, Chief. Next to Davao Oriental, Mati City. Mati City po, Chief Gina. Mati City po tayo.
Okay,
Ayan.
1, 2, 3, smile.
Nag-Mati City.
Mag-asawa. Mag-asawa. 1, 2, 3, smile.
Okay. So next
George.
Tacoma City. Chief Christine
Bayad ko sa Friday, mag-bike ko.
with the
Pwede na?
APS. Ayan. Tacoma City po with Christine and UPS.
Hi, San.
Miss Luch, Tagum City tayo.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile.
Ayan. Thank you. Now,
Ano
Davao.
tayo, Juan? Motoring travel chief?
Nahuman na bang Oriental?
Ano tayo, motoring travel?
Dana po.
Thursday.
Davao, ano po, Davao del Norte na po tayo with Chief Edward. Davao del Norte, ayan. Miss Luch.
Sige. Sige, ma'am. 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Luch. Let's
Hi,
proceed
Marlene
to
Publico.
Panabo City. Panabo with Chief John Wario.
Guwapa, Ma'am Lizelle. Hi, Ma'am Joanne. Joanne.
Ayan.
1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny.
Good morning, Ma'am Sheila.
Hi, Fred.
Thank you po, Panabo. This time, let's move to Island Garden City of Samal.
Ito ba, wala? Akong dito.
With Chief
Yeah.
Ano, Reka? Reka
Garden
diya?
City of Samal with Chief Chona po.
Asa mo ka?
Okay, Miss Luz.
1,
Mayroon?
2, 3, smile.
Kung may tanaw na ni.
Next.
Tanaw.
City. City Task Force with Chief Alma. Chief Alma. Davao City po. Miss Luz,
Davao City.
Hi, Ma'am Janet.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile.
Ayan, Davao
Morning,
City.
Doc Jean.
Now, let's
Right up, Ma'am Janet.
Davao del Sur.
Okay na.
Davao del Sur Task
Del Sur.
with Chief Julie.
Oo, muna magkuhan. Captain sa aeroplano, Sir Aldo.
1, Davao del Sur. 1, 2,
Del Sur.
3.
Dapat del Sur naman
Hi,
kagad.
Mr. Carolaye.
Thank you. Ayan. Let's move to Davao Occidental. Davao Occidental with Chief Felix.
Wala. Asan taga Davao? Ay, so, dyan si Mamelior niya.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, Ma'am Aurora.
1, 2, 3, smile.
Hi, Davao.
Good morning, Ma'am Aurora.
Digos City.
Digos City.
Task Force ng Digos City with Chief Beverly.
About the materials.
Sige,
Task Force
1,
with Chief Beverly.
Digos City.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much po. We will give you the materials po after this meeting. Maraming salamat talaga. Chief, if you want, tapos ang closing note from you, Chief.
Salamat.
Another closing note. Yes, Tapos na po ang Davao Oriental. Yes, Ma'am Sue, tapos na ang Davao Oriental. Chief, your closing note before we will have the closing prayer.
Okay lang, atin lang is that we will draw out our commitment, our passion, because according to RD, work that is not coming from passion will not give a positive result, but once work will be coming from your passion, everything will just be fine. How heavy the work is, how stressful the day is, but once it's coming from our passion,
Oh, ni ma'am,
we
asan
can
eh?
give a
Kay Sir
positive
Manny,
result.
Manino.
Okay. Before that one, the LMDEPS tutorial muna. Okay, sa LMDEPS po with Chief Jean. Okay, paki-on po ng camera si LMDEPS. Ayan.
Here. Open daw. Si
Okay.
LMDPS.
Sa LMDEPS. Sa LMDEPS.
Manamian?
Yes, Ma'am. So, tapos na po tayo ng
Sorry.
Uy, di second round.
Sige, kadali lang sa daw.
Na?
Sige, 1. Okay na?
Ito.
Ma'am,
okay.
Ma'am Jane, asan na ka? Okay, 1. Oh, may
Ayan. Thank you.
Smile. Okay. Oh,
Okay, thank you so much po. Maraming salamat. Okay, with that, we are going to have our closing prayer. Maraming salamat po sa lahat. Closing prayer.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everyone.
Miss Luch, our closing prayer. Okay, maraming salamat po sa lahat. God bless everyone. That ends our orientation. Ma'am She. Okay. The files po that we will be sending, we will send that one to, we will send the link of the Google Drive through the Learning Resource Management Section Manager po, to your LR Manager. And we will share that one also to the Chief. At least dalawa silang may kopya ng link. Okay, yan po Sir Joey. Thank you.